some Star Wars, things like that. Good stuff. You're right, Terry. You're looking a little tired.
Oh, it's catching to me.
My eyes are getting dry. I also forgot to grab water, and like while I was talking, my throat felt so scratchy. I guess I got
Oh,
time to run right
water.
now.
No, yeah, go ahead. You only got 11 seconds, man, to get some water. That's not a lot, but well, here we are. Are you ready to do this, Taylor?
Let's do it.
And we are back. So let's go to a galaxy far, far away. I'm going to start with you. What would you rather talk about first, this game news or the rumored show?
Oh, let's do the game.
Fanboy like this, you need to listen to Star Wars Alliance if you want some stars. Absolutely. Check out Podcast Network, but we all support one another. So here's the thing. There's not much. I'm not sure if you've seen this. They're doing like some hunt for the bounty hunter or something. Like, yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. Star Wars is doing like a week or a month filled of events of little things showing off merch and stuff like that. On the calendar, it is December 14th, and it has a video game console, or so it's a video game controller, not any brand, just one specifically. Do you think, obviously they're hinting at something gaming, do you think this is going to be anything substantial, or do you think this will just be a little update? Lots of people have thought, well, maybe it's that new game Hunters getting a little preview, and if that's the case, I don't think it's anything big. So that's kind of showing my hand that I don't think it is going to be anything too massive. I would like it to be, whether it's a sequel or a new game or whatnot it might be. But what do you take from this?
It's hard to say. I feel like if it was anything concrete, it would have been a little bit more revealed or like hinted at. I feel like if it's just something like this, it's probably nothing super granular. I know S Bubs is mentioning that give me the Mando game. There was footage of a Mandalorian game that was dropped a while ago, but it was proven as a fake, which is super shame because it just looked like there's so much opportunity for them to dive into that. Now, that being said, I did see there was some other footage of something like a Mandalorian-esque style game, but I don't know if that was actually attached to this fake project. I think it was something else entirely. So there's so many fake things. It's hard to know what's really true when it comes to Star Wars games these days. Do I hope it's a new game? I really do. I really, really do, because it's no longer exclusivity with EA, so we need to be pumping these titles out like no tomorrow.
Well, what do we got right now? We got Jedi Fallen Order 2, which will be happening. We got Knights of the Old Republic remake, that's happening. We have the Ubisoft game that's happening. I imagine we'll get a Battlefront 3. I think that's
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and we got Jedi Hunters coming right now. So we got 5 right now, and we've heard, like Fanboy Clay points on the chat, Quantum Dreams. We did hear about that rumor. That one sounded like, I feel like the rumors were talking about it being an early development. So other than just maybe putting a press release saying, hey, it's actually happening, I don't think it would be that. Jedi Fallen Order 2 would honestly be like an easy layup, even if it was just like the announcement of the title. So you'd be like, oh, it's like, the Sith sisters, and like, oh, what's this about? We talk about it and do a cast. So like, I think it will be, like as points out, same thing, something mobile, something it's that Hunters game, something smaller, because you do have the Game Awards December 9th, the week before, and I feel like if it's something bigger, like we had with the Knights of the Old Republic remake at the PlayStation event, I feel like you'd have something bigger at one of those, but maybe not. Maybe they want to have their big day. But what do you think, Kirklin? Do you think it's gonna be anything substantial, or just kind of like a little mini announcement, because it's in a bunch of other announcements?
There
You're
is
not Kirklin Patzer.
No, I just want to throw in there's the Lego Skywalker saga. That's another title.
Yeah, that's true. So we got 6 going right now that are confirmed to be working on or coming out soon.
And December 14th, like, what is that? Is that like a special event, or it's just...
No, they're doing a month worth of Star Wars like announcements. So every day it's like, maybe there's a new book here. That's like the hunt for the bounty hunter. It's just to promote Boba Fett. It's just synergy.
Yeah. I do think it would probably be something smaller, and I don't want to like discredit what the game could possibly be. Just I don't know. I feel like one of those bigger scale Star Wars games. I feel like those would be shown at like, I mean, video games starting to pop off these days. So maybe something like that. E3 is always the classic. I think E3, that's probably where you'll get like Battlefront 3. But I don't. Yeah, it's tough for me to pinpoint like what it would be. And this is a new property, right? It's not something that's already been hinted at before.
Well, we don't know, because all it says on this calendar of events, it just is the 14th, and it's a picture of a gaming controller. That's all we know. But it's obviously something gaming, I would imagine, right? So maybe that's the sign of it not being mobile, with it being the controller. But You never know.
God, I hope it's not a mobile game. Just because, like, I saw the news.
Galaxy of Heroes 2.
Taylor's excited.
There we go.
Oh yeah.
Just like I saw that news, and then like I was just at work, and I'm like, "Oh, do you hear this?" And like 3 out of the 3 people I talked to about it, they got really excited right away. They're like, "Oh man, I hope that's either Fallen Order 2 or something like that," because they really like that game. And yeah, I don't know, maybe Fallen Order 2.
Yeah, like I said, a title drops an easy announcement,
And
or even
yeah,
showing like a character. Like in this game, you'll like fight Darth Maul in the level, and you're like,
yeah,
oh
and
shit,
it's not like it's a brand new thing. It's something that we know is coming already. So I could definitely see it being that, because I feel, again, if it's a bigger brand new IP, you'd probably showcase that at the Video Game Awards, which is a few days early, like or early before the 14th. Do you think it's possible that we like get hinted at that, and then the 14th they'd like flesh it out more? Is that out of the realm of possibility?
What about S-Bub's literally a Boba Fett custom controller will be announced? Hey, Taylor will be all over that, but it'll just be for PS5 and he'll be pissed. But no, there's a chance, right? They could literally do that. They announce something at the Game Awards and then they say on the 14th more details, right? They just did that at was it Summer Games? Whenever they showed Midnight Suns, remember they showed it at the Keeley's event, and then they said like next week we're gonna do a gameplay. So he's done this before, so you could easily do that. I think that's the best we can hope for, is that it is like a continuation on something, because I don't know with Jedi Fallen Order if they're gonna show anything substantial. It sounds like the Ubisoft game is still far ways off. Quantum Dream, same thing, far off. Like maybe a Battlefront 3, we don't know the status of that, but again, we don't have a Star Wars movie coming out. So I guess we got a bunch of shows next year, so I guess they can time with those. But yeah, I think that's the most we get, is like a continuation of, oh, on the 14th, tune into our live stream and here you go.
Yeah.
Taylor, Phil, I want to start with you, because most people have been shouting this out as they feel, even this article feels, it's a certain character, but there's been some back and forth, because there's a scoop sir put out this is probably about like a C tier, maybe C plus tier, but then there's someone in that same range that kind of put it out there that Katie alerted us and said, this might not be true. So it's kind of iffy. So this is why, we're just addressing a rumor, it might not be true. But there's apparently a Disney Plus show in production right now that's going to be about a bounty hunter that is Force sensitive. And obviously, I've not finished it, but a lot of people have pointed to, and even the scoops are pointing to it being Omega. I don't know. Clearly there's some stuff that happens there. That for me, even though I've not finished Bad Batch, was like a red flag of like, oh, really? Would they be doing an Omega live action thing right now, even with Bad Batch 2 happening? I don't know. So I do kind of lean towards the side of this feels like this is maybe a different project or something else that's kind of been misconstrued. But what do you feel if this rumor was true? And then do you feel like, what are the likelihood of it could being true or not?
So I could see it being very true. I think them exploring this type of storyline with a character has a lot of possibility and a lot of potential. I think it's right up their alley to pursue this kind of trajectory for a character. I don't think it'll be about Omega. If there's a season 2 of the Bad Batch, well, there is a season 2. Yeah. When we get season 2 of the Bad Batch, it focusing again on Omega still being with the squad. I can't see the next year being a standalone Disney Plus series of her live action, a little bit older, skipping ahead 5 years. It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't.
And I don't think she's
sense.
warranted that. Like, no offense to the Mega character, but like Ahsoka, it's like, oh yeah, this show's gonna play because people really want this. I don't think if they announce the Omega show right now or even next year, people be like, holy shit, yeah, like
I wouldn't necessarily like discredit her, but it wouldn't be strong enough for her to be on her own. Yes, I could see it being her with another roster of bounty hunters. Again, like we got to see her, I'm not going to say team up with Fennec, but we got to see that kind of dynamic develop and unfold a little bit. We got to see Omega dabble with bounty hunters like Cad Bane and Fennec as well. So there's that stepping stone for people to kind of run with it and think, well, this show could focus on her because, everyone's assuming she's Force sensitive. I 100% believe she's Force sensitive. So it's tough. I don't think we would get Omega ever on her own standalone show, but I could see us getting like, they could do, I would love a Cad Bane show, do a Cad Bane show and just have Omega in there, like as a bounty hunter team, like either teaming or going against them.
I think what they still do need, and it's funny because you'll listen to my reviews of Mando season 1, and you'll be like, you're such a hypocrite, Travis. But like, what I want is still, I think you could still get a true bounty hunter show in the way that Mando was kind of a bounty hunter show, and then it wasn't once Grogu was introduced, right? And then season 2 was much more of a congruent story. I'm completely fine with that, but there is some good episodes of him just doing tasks and being a bounty hunter, right? And I think that you could get a show more like that. This sounds still not like that because they say, of course, it take place in the fucking dark times, and it's like the Empire comes across this bounty hunter. She is force sensitive. They learn this and they go, well, let's send the Inquisitors. We have to hunt her and get her down. So again, I do agree that I think you could do a show about multi bounty hunters, whether it's Fennec or whatnot, and have that real culture and even an anthology show of like bounty hunters on different jobs or one bounty hunter just on different jobs. I liked that with Mando, but there was just I wanted a bit more, I guess, with that once we introduced Baby Yoda. But yeah, I'd be down for it.
Could it be mistaken? Let's say the Book of Boba Fett has a scenario or an episode where he encounters a bounty hunter who's force sensitive. Because I feel like the
100%.
Book of Boba Fett will be more focused on that bounty hunter realm. I mean, it's Boba Fett and Fennec, of course, but I think that has. I don't know where the source is of this possible series, but I think there's more credibility to this series being maybe information from a leaked episode of the Book of Boba Fett as opposed to being a standalone series on Disney Plus.
Could be. He said one of the main things is they found it from concept art, which we know they do concept art for the Book of Boba Fett. So, and Mandalorian and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's possible. It just for me, it just felt odd. It felt also odd. People drawing the Omega lines to it. I don't see it, and I also don't see it because like Fanboy Clay, I've not finished this, but he says like they need to flesh out Omega's character. I still know nothing about her. For me, it's also just like from a popularity standpoint. I talked about this with Katie and Clay, and we've talked about this before. That Bad Batch, even though I think it was liked by fans, it definitely did not reach the heights of Clone Wars hype that final season had. And I feel like Bad Batch would come out and it'd be like a far in the wind. No one was talking about that show. But Kirklin Patzer, obviously you didn't finish or watch Bad Batch show, but does this, if you don't know much about this character, but just this kind of concept of potential bounty hunter with force powers being hunted, like interests you, or is this one that you could, move along?
Yeah, no, I haven't seen Bad Batch at all. So when you guys were going off there, that was like my introduction to all that information. And man, just reading that title though of like a bounty hunter with force sensitive powers or whatever it might be, that's just so fascinating to me. I want more of that stuff in Star Wars, just different things that we've seen in the Skywalker saga, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I'm all for it. And if it's tied to Bad Batch, obviously it would push me to have to get back on there like I started it. I haven't even started it, so there you go. Get on that horse. And it's not like I'm avoiding it for any reason. It's just it's tied to Clone Wars, isn't it? Yeah. So I haven't seen that yet. So I have to do a lot of watching.
You don't have to watch Clone Wars to
I've been told
Batch,
like early. I've been told probably by you guys and some other friends that like the early seasons you can just honestly skip those, because I started that and like it was kind of rough to get through. Just some of the episodes are so filler.
You can skip
so
that.
Like,
unfortunately, you can
Jar
skip
Jar
the
heavy episodes.
Wars, you can skip the majority of the Clone Wars. There's a few arcs that are great, but that's about it in my opinion.
And that's what I generally hear from like friends.
I'll write you a list of the arcs you should watch.
There you go. That's what I need.
It's just every episode. Hey, you want to start with episode 1 and end on the last one. So
there you go. Fanboy Clay started season 4 if you want to watch that. That's
oh my god.
Too much power. Yeah, no, I've been told that's that same like point to jump in on is season 4. But nonetheless, it's exciting just getting more things that we haven't really seen before in Star Wars, right? So all for it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we did it. We did almost a nice solid 2 hours here. Lots of stuff, lots of news we talked about, lots of solid announcements, lots of fun things. So stay tuned. As I've said before, I should promote this at the beginning, but every day at noon on the weekdays, we promote a new host or a new player in the trivia. There's going to be announcements, all this sort of stuff. Please go support the Extra Life charity stream and donate in our name so we can shave Taylor's head. We can shave Jessica's head. That'd be a big deal. That'd be something to say. If we were to see Jessica's head being shaved, that would be a very cool moment for GeekVerse. So, gentlemen, I thank you for being on this episode. When you hear from all 3 of us next, it'll be on DC Fandom, and it'll not be boring.
See you later.